Hello and welcome back. In my previous demo, I showed you how to access a oData service and display its data inside a table. And this demo is going to be a continuation of the previous demo, and we are going to look into a few other scenarios. So let's do a quick recap of what we did in our previous demo. So in our controller page, we are defining a new model, which is going to be a JSON model, and we are going to get the data using a jQuery function, which is $.ajax, and then we are going to set the data inside our O model. Now the reason that I use $.ajax is because our data is coming inside our value node. So if you look into this data, it is coming inside our value node, but the object that we get from this URL is this entire thing, and we are interested in this data. So that's the reason this model allows me to get the relevant data and then set it inside my O model, and then I can set this model to be global so that I can access it from page one view. But let's say we don't want to use $.ajax function. In that case, you can delete everything from here and pass the URL over here. So internally, it is going to set the data from this URL inside your O model, and then you can make this model global. But now this model contains an object which is this entire object basically, but we are interested in this node, which is the value node. So now we can go ahead and inside our view, instead of giving the root, we give value. So this is still going to work. Let's have a quick refresh in the browser and look into the data, and that works. But imagine a scenario where you have two different models and you need to get the data from two different models and show it inside your page one.view. So we are going to use another web service, which is the Ajaxtown web service, and we're going to keep this link ready, and let's use another model. So we can copy this code, paste it over here, and replace this URL with our Ajaxtown URL. So now we have two models and both are set. So this is using O model and this is O model 1, and we are setting O model inside the core, which is going to make it global, and the same thing we are doing with this. But in this case, it is just going to overwrite this model, and so our core is going to contain the new object, which is O model 1. So we give a key over here and we say this is Northwind model, and this is going to be a Ajaxtown model. So in this case, we are setting the model with the name Ajaxtown, and here we are setting the model as Northwind. So let's move on to page 1, and let's copy this entire script and paste it again so that we can display our Ajaxtown data. And we are going to paste it over here. We are going to name it as oTable1, and this is also going to be oTable1, oTable1, and this is going to be oTable1. And if you look into the Ajaxtown data, there is no other key. We need exactly the same data as it's given here. So we do not use the value. Instead, we want the data from the root. So that is all done. And the next thing, our column names are first name and last name. So we are going to change that. So instead of contact name, it is going to be first name, and this is going to be last name. All right. So we are binding this UI element with contact name, which is coming from our model, but now there are two different models, and this is going to get confused on which model to use. So to do that, the first model that we have named, it is Northwind. So we copy that data and we are going to write Northwind, and we're going to reference this model, and we want the contact name. Similarly, we are going to reference Northwind again, and we are going to get contact title, and this value is going to get bind with our UI element. And now we are going to bind north wind with the same value. And if you look into the second table here, this data is coming from Ajaxtown. So we name that and we copy the same thing and write Ajaxtown here. And this data is coming from Ajaxtown. We are returning O table, but we have two different tables. So we write var element. This is going to be an array and it is going to contain O table and O table 1. And now we are going to return this table, return this element which contains both the table. So now when we go ahead and refresh this page, this data doesn't show up, but we are getting the data from the first table. Now to debug this, we can get into the console and refresh this page, and we are going to get the error message over here. And it says cross origin request blocked. Well, that's because we are not able to access this service because it can get the request only from ajaxtown.com. So we are going to change this and we are going to keep a star wildcard so that it gives us access to any domain. And now when we go ahead and refresh this page, it is going to get me the data from this table, and we also have the data over here. So that was all about the oData service and how to use it using a JSON model. And in the next demo, we are going to create a small form, and when we submit that form, it is going to add the record inside this table. So thanks for watching. If you have any comments or there is a section that you've not understood, drop me a comment and I'll try to explain that in the next video.